Welcome to Deb Talk with your host, Deb Darling. On this pod, I'll be asking the hard questions that life throws our way. What some are scared to talk about and others wish they did. Sex, cultura, kids being assholes, overeating, butt sex, shitty jobs, and so much more. I'm on this journey of getting to know myself and others. So come join me! Welcome to Deb Talk with your girl, Deb Darling. I am here with my guest, Mona.
Okay, well, my name is Mona. I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I'm 35 years old. I have 3 beautiful children. I have my own podcast as well, and it's called My Journey Within. It's still a baby. It's like a month old now, so it's still a newborn baby. I have my master's degree. I'm about to graduate again. I'm getting a minor in human resources management because I want to work with DHR and work with abused children. So that's my goal.
Oh, well, congratulations. What's your master's in?
Criminal justice.
Oh, nice. My mom has a master's in criminal justice as well.
Okay, yay.
Yeah, she works for, what is it called? DCF. So I think it's like similar. Yeah. I don't know if it's, yeah. So she works for DCF. That's cool. Well, that's awesome. Anything. So what is your podcast about? Tell us a little bit about
it
that.
started, I was laid off from my job because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Now, I've been listening to podcasts for like 6 months, 7 months. And I was like, I can do that. I have a lot of experience. I can do it. So I had another name, but I had to change it because I know you can have the same name, but I just wanted something that was mine. So I changed my name, I changed my logo, I changed my picture, I changed everything. So it's officially everything is mine. But I got the idea from Jennifer Lewis. She was on the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
And she was talking about therapy and how she went to therapy and how she took her journey within. I was like, I like that. I love that. And so it's pretty much where it came from. And I mostly talk about just things I went through, sexual abuse, growing up as a child, physical abuse, domestic violence, narcissistic parents, just a whole array of different topics.
Nice. Well, I can't wait to check it out.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I decided to do the podcast a few months ago with a few people, and then they ended up flaking on me. And I was like, well, I still want to do it. Yeah. I don't know who I'm going to do it with, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then my daughter's father, he was like, all right, here's the mics. Get it done. Like, if it's not now, then never. And I'm like, you're right. And then I got pregnant and I was like, how am I going to do it now? He's like, see, you're always going to have an excuse. First, you couldn't do it because you were alone. Now you're pregnant. Now you don't want to do it because of this and that. And I'm like, oh, you're right. And then I did the post and we were sitting there and he was like, just write a post, see who responds, and then just go from there. I was like, okay. So then I did, and then everybody that responded, I was very overwhelmed and very happy at the response. At first, thank you so much for responding and all that. I was so happy. I'm like, cool. And everyone's like so available. The fact that you're a mom and you're here, and I'm like, I was very surprised. I was like, oh, you can do it tomorrow? Like, me too. My child's not here right now.
All 3 of mine are here. They're back there in the back, and I made sure you do not come up here because I'm doing a show right now. But what I've experienced from coming to this community, everyone is so inviting. They're so like, send me your link. I'll listen to it. I'll support. I have never had that before, and it's just a whole different community. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this journey. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for me. We're brand new, so let's do this damn thing. Okay. So that being said, let's go into my first segment, which is the weekly inquiry. And this week's inquiry was, how has it been holding all kinds of different relationships while being a single mother or a single parent?
Ooh, where can I start? I have been single since 2017. Like, I was in a real serious relationship, and it ended horribly. He broke off our engagement 50 days before our wedding.
Jesus.
And left. And so trying to navigate and come back through that, it was really hard. But what I understand from men here where I live at, excuse me, they want you to be like available right away. That's what I've been getting. It was like, well, I have 3 kids. I can't just drop everything and be like, yeah, let's go to I have to plan. I have to plan. I have to structure. So a lot of that, I let them know up front, hey, my kids are number one in my life. If we can't plan and we can't structure something, I can't just drop them and be like, yeah, I'll meet you at the movies at 9 o'clock at night when I have a 5-year-old. She's my youngest. It's like, no. So that's been my hardest thing with finding someone who just be like, you know what? They want to add more stress to my life as there instead of like, let me lighten this load for you and this and that. So that's been my hardest thing.
How about with like friends and other people in your life? Has that been interrupted at all while having children? How old is your oldest?
He's 15.
He's 15. So in 15 years, how has anything, have you lost friends? Has anything been really affected by having kids?
Well, not so much with me having kids. It's just other situations. A lot of people don't want to watch their children. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't feel comfortable leaving my children with just anyone, but I've always been a loner. I've always been like, I'm the black sheep of my family because I have 3 children by 3 different men. And so, they look at me as like, oh, you over there, but I was in a serious relationship with all 3 of them. I was married to one. I was engaged to 2 of them. So it wasn't like I was just out there and I got pregnant by 3 different men. Mm-hmm. But I just had that kind of family where it was just always been me. So I've created my own little family with my kids and whatnot. And so if you want to come into our little world of peace, then you're going to have to prove worthy that you can come in here. Mm-hmm. And other than that, I just go on by my business. But friends, I'm friends with a lot of other single moms and everything. So, they kind of understand that part. But for most of it, it's just always been me taking care of my children by myself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good. For me, it's been quite a journey since I had my daughter. I lost a couple friends. It was. So I had my daughter. She's 3 now. So 4 years ago that I got pregnant. It was like a downhill. Like everyone that was around me kind of just started dropping like flies. So I've been kind of starting from scratch and trying to make friends. And I guess it was my fault more so because I was in a serious relationship and I'm not with the father of my daughter. We live together and we're really good friends, but we're just not together anymore. So ever since we were together, I'm like, I want to make friends. I don't know how to make friends because I'm almost 30 and I don't go out. So I'm like, Where am I going to meet someone at the grocery store? And it's ironic because I went to Target before this whole thing happened and I saw this girl and she's like, I love your hair. And I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, I love your jacket. And then that's how it started. And we just started talking. And then we exchanged numbers. It happened so organically. And he's like, see, that's how it happens. And we met for coffee one time and we never spoke again. But like, it was a great, we were cool for like a couple days and then we never talked again.
Now, I've had that a bunch of times where it was like, yeah, we're going to get together. Let's make plans. And even before like all this started. And it was just like, things happen. Like me, I love to walk. I love to exercise. So I'm like, hey, come walking with me. And it's always a reason, always an excuse, always they can't make it. And it was me. I was always that friend kind of just putting myself out there. Hey, let's hang out. Hey, let's do this. But I was never getting, reciprocated on the other end. And I was just like, God, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know what to do because it just seemed like I've always ran across backstabbing females. Like that's where, a lot of I'm not friends anymore, but they were just real backstabbing. Or you can't be better than me. It's okay. You can be like right here or a little, but you can't go higher than me. I'm gonna pull you back down. So, but I was like, okay. So I just pray. I'm like, God, just send me a real friend when you ready to send me one, because I know how to be a friend too. But it's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. Well, some days I'm like, it'll come when it comes, and then I'm like,
you be wanting to have somebody to talk to, and the thing, what you're going through. If something good happened, and it's like, now I had a 17-year friendship that ended, Like we had been friends since we were not 17 years, but we had been friends since we were 17. I'm sorry. We had been friends since we were 17, and it was mostly a trauma relationship. You know, we had, baby daddies, we had, physical abuse happen, all that. So it was never no growth or no healing. It was always drama and trauma and this and that. And so that's what kept her. She'll get a man and stop talking to me. And then when the man break up with her, I was still right there waiting to be a friend because she was all I known for all those years. And when I got in my last relationship and she was like, oh, this is for real. Like, oh, they're happy. She cut me out of her life completely. Blocked me, changed her number. I'm talking about like after all those years, and she's never spoken to me again.
Oh, so she never gave you an explanation or like
at all. It was because of that fact right there. And so I found out years later when after me and him broke up, she was inboxing him, oh, you're such a good man. Oh, I've always thought that, just I was like, wow, because like the whole time we was together, she hated him. He's not good. He this and that. So I was like, okay, but our season had been up. I just held on to her because I just felt like I wanted a friend so bad.
Well, my daughter's father, he always says sometimes you just outgrow people.
Yeah.
And they're for the moment, they're not forever. And if they don't grow with you, then just let them go.
I learned that December 31st of 2019, I kind of sat down and wrote letters to people in my life. Some I didn't give, some they from my personal thing, but she was one of them that I reached out to. You know what I'm saying? Well, even though she has me blocked, I reached out through her cousin just to kind of not say, hey, let's be friends again, because I know, like, we're done. We'll never be friends again. I was just clearing the air to let her know I have no hard feelings towards you, no hostility, no nothing. We had our time. It's up and everything. And just, let her know I forgive you for everything. If it's anything I've done, I apologize. Just clearing the air. Her cousin wrote me back and said, I'm not going to send you back what she said because it's obvious to me that you're mature and you're grown and she's still on whatever the reason why she left. And I was like, thank you for that. But, I did what I need to do. And it just really confirmed me that she's still in the same spot and I've grown and I've evolved and it's better we don't have any dealings with each other.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not worth the stress or the headache. Like, see you later. Good riddance.
Exactly. Good riddance.
Right? So let's move on to my second segment, which is Weekly Shenanigans.
Hey, I like shenanigans.
Me too, right?
Yeah.
It's where we're going to be discussing BS that we've seen on social media this week. So it could be a story, a meme, a picture, a video, anything really that like is worth talking about. Is there anything you saw this week that caught your eye?
Well, you want to know something funny? I'm actually taking a hiatus from social media. And so it was like, I only get on to post the podcast. Mm-hmm. And then my church, my church is online now since, the buildings and stuff is shut down. And I just so happened came across your post, your post, which I'm so glad that I did log back in so I could, saw your post and whatnot. But I got off of it. I really did because it was consuming my day. Like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, so I was like, okay, I gotta do other things or whatnot because it was just getting too much. It was really getting too bad. But if I would say just by seeing things, I would have to say it's by everything that's going on now. So many people got many different theories of like, oh, it's better go away. Oh no, it's here to stay. Oh, it's just you just never know. Unless you're there on the front line, you just really know like what's going on. Mm-hmm. And so it's just it's been really crazy. It's been really crazy. So I would have to say that would be my main thing. I try to get out of it, like, because it will consume you. I know a lady, she's like sun up, sundown. She's watching the news, every station, this and that. And like, there's no way to live your life like that because you'll be in constant fear. She literally walking around in a hazmat suit. I'm talking about just like covering up, and I'm like, no, it's not that serious. So that would be my only thing that I'm kind of getting sick of. Even though I know it's still kind of like in the thick of, but it's like, whew, okay, it's that.
I feel that mine is actually a story from Business Insider that really caught my eye because it like I get notifications and I never usually open it, but this one I opened it and I was kind of annoyed because I don't know how you feel. I mean, I don't really like to discuss politics, but like Trump is a piece of shit. And
Yes.
that being said,
I'm talking about the head of it.
yes,
Oh my God,
yes.
he's the
There's so much I could say that's negative.
fifth grader could be president over him. I don't get
Exactly.
it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Oh Lord.
Yeah. So a senior Trump advisor said that the White House employees are going to work in relatively cramped West Wing out of love for this country. And I found that to be really ridiculous because it's like, this country does not give a shit about you. Like, it doesn't matter if you are white, black, like, this country does not care, especially like minorities, period. Definitely.
Yeah.
But like, definitely anybody that works in the White House right now, they don't care about you. And the fact that you go to work and risk your life every day for what? Like, I don't get it. I'm very much I gave a 2-week notice once in my life. And that was because this job did me very well. They were super dope. They always gave me extra hours and they were just great. But other than that, I've never given a 2-week notice because I'm a firm believer that if I get sick and I call out too many times, they're going to replace me with someone that is not sick and can come into work and do the job. So these people that are going in there risking their lives are not really thinking about the fact that if they get sick and God forbid Corona gets them, they're going to be replaced that following week with someone else. And it's so that was my shenanigans of the week. I couldn't really believe that I read that. I was like, you guys are silly as hell. If somebody told me come in here while there's a pandemic and be in like a small room with a bunch of people, I would look at them like, hey, it's been real, it's been nice, but not real nice, so I gotta go.
I just think I didn't think he could get any dumber than when he said about how we should inject ourselves.
Oh, with bleach and like Lysol and all these things. He's an idiot.
I really thought I'd seen it all with him, but I haven't. So I was like, okay, that's the president. I don't consider him my president. Like,
he's definitely not my president.
All periods. No.
My daughter's father, when he got his stimulus check, he was like, so all I'm gonna say is he's officially my president. And I was like, shut up. And of course he's kidding, but it's so funny because he's like, you know, when my president gives me my money and this and that, he just jokes around a lot of it.
And I was like, and I got mine, and I got a letter in the mail for him, and I wrote on there, you're still not my president.
Right? I got the letter and I crumpled it up. I was like, oh, whatever. It literally said the White House on my letter. I was like, okay, whatever, goodbye, give me my money. Like, thanks. Right. So for the next segment, it's the weekly check-in. Have you heard any or seen any or anything on TV or any shows or anything along those lines? Social media, I know you're not on right now. Anything that is current?
I was a big like reality show person. Like, I was the love and hip hop people, like all of them. But then it just started getting too much, like all of them was the same. Man, dog, you out. You've been with him 20 years. He ain't married you. So I was like, okay, I don't want this right there. I don't want it. So I try to watch like an hour or two a day of TV. I'm most on Netflix and Hulu. Like, that's where I live at. But I would have to say my top show right now is Insecure. Like, that is Insecure. So when I tell you I can talk, I love it. And like season 3 really wasn't that good for me, you know, even though then she went off and it almost been 2 years, but baby, she ain't playing with season 4. Like, they straight out the gate. And so I'm Team Issa and Lawrence. I want them to get back together.
Me too. No, I don't. I don't, because I feel like she did him wrong, but the way that she did it was she was in a higher level than him and then cheated. And then now that he's doing better, I feel like I don't think it's fair for him to then go backwards because she's still not. Well, I mean, I guess she's doing good too now with the whole.
I just kind of want to see them kind of like glow up together. Like, okay, he got a job finally after 5 years. He got a job. Let's see how it can be right there. But he was like, then that Condola is that she didn't disappear. So it's like, what's going on in Molly? Well, I tell you, every time I see the scenes with her and Molly, I think about my ex-best friend. I think about her. It's like, and she did an interview, Issa. She said the point of season 4 is going to be when you get to a certain place in your life. You know, you have your friends in your 20s, and then when you get to your 30s and you're like getting grounded and established, are these people in your life for a reason or a season? So she was like, that's what season 4 gonna be about. And I think her and Molly gonna make it. Like, I think they're gonna, they're gonna break up friendship wise. And people don't know that's just as painful as a real breakup. Like that, I feel like that's even more painful. A friendship breakup. My heart was broken when she stopped being my friend. So, but I was just like, you could just see the build up with them too. Like, it's coming.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel like they're not going to stay friends for long because they're not really on the same page anymore. Like, you can see it that they're not on the same page anymore.
They're going in two different directions. It's just like, now, okay, she has Molly, I guess, somewhat of a man, if that's what you want to call Andrew. But he's Australian.
In real life?
Yeah.
Or, oh, wow.
Yeah, because she went live. And I tell you, like, I follow them on everything. I am an Insecure fan. I be tweeting her all the time, like, make this show an hour. So I probably was one of them people. She was like, y'all stop asking me to make this show an hour because I'm not. And I was like,
that's funny. They should. It goes by so quick.
It was like, homie, come on, like it's going off. And so I'm like, all right, but that's my show.
It's a good one. It's a good one. For me, it was so to me, it's not a show, more so a commercial that came on, and it was for Dunkin Donuts. I don't know if you guys have a Dunkin Donuts over there.
We do. I've never had it before, but I don't eat donuts.
Did you say you've never had Dunkin Donuts?
No, I don't even eat donuts.
But do you drink coffee?
Oh, I love coffee, but I don't eat donuts.
But so wait, so have you been to Dunkin Donuts and gotten coffee?
I've never been inside before.
No, really? Holy cannoli. Oh,
girl,
shit.
If I tell you the things I don't eat, I think you would probably close this podcast down. You'd probably close it down.
Like what? Please.
Like, I can't talk to you right now.
Oh, Jesus.
I can give you a list now, but I was like, I like you and I want us to be friends.
I feel that. No, so this Dunkin' Donuts commercial is selling, they were saying that they're selling this Dunkin' Donuts like DIY donut kit. So it comes in with different frostings and different sprinkles and all this stuff. And I'm not big on donuts. Like, I don't really I don't go out of my way to get donuts. But it's really interesting because for kids, especially right now that you're home and you're not doing anything, it's like really good. My daughter, she loves sprinkles and she loves all that stuff just to do it. So I thought it was really interesting that they're selling this kit to like decorate donuts and stuff. So that was really interesting. So that was my weekly check-in because I thought it was really cool that Dunkin' Donuts is selling it.
I just thought of something. Down here in Mobile, a teenager found $135,000 next to an ATM, and he turned it back in.
Was it that Hispanic kid? I thought I saw something.
I didn't click on the link to see what, but I just said to myself, God, why can't you bless me in situations like that? Because I was like, Lord, this is from you. This is a blessing. Why would I turn that $135,000?
I was just going to say, would you turn it in? I don't think I'd turn it in either. Or
you understand me? I'm out of here. Like, I'm gone. Unless if it's no type of like trace on it. And then I wouldn't even spend big amounts either. I would spend a little something here and there, but I'm gone. I'm telling you right now, I'm gone.
I agree.
But he turned it back in. And I was like, what is that? Okay. I couldn't do it, girl.
Oh. How did they even take out that much money from an ATM?
They just leave it there.
Yeah.
Someone just walked by. It's like, some people have all the luck in the world, but Shamanica would have turned that back in, baby. I would have been gone.
Yeah. I mean, I feel lucky. For the past week, I've felt really lucky. More so I don't usually play the lottery, like, ever, because I don't really play because I don't want to throw away my money,
Okay.
basically. So this, maybe like a month ago, I bought a scratch ticket and I won like $40. And I was like, ooh, this is so nice. It was off of a $5 ticket. So I held on to it and I kept it in my bag. And then the other day I went for a walk with my daughter and we went to 7-Eleven and I was like, oh, let me just spend the $40. And then I had another $20. So I was like, I'll spend all $60 on 3 scratch tickets, 3 $20 scratch tickets. I was like, I hope I win $1 million. That's all I could say. I hope I win $1 million. So I left it in my bag and the whole day went by and I was about to go to bed and I'm in bed and I was like, oh yeah, I have scratch tickets. And then I took it out. And the way that I scratch tickets is I scratch the numbers first and then I scratch the prize. If I get multiple, I'll scratch the prize like at the end of scratching all the numbers off of all the cards. So I did that and then it showed one of them, the very first one had like $1, like a bill. And I was like, oh, I won in this one. And then the next one had like 5 different like matchings. And I was like, oh, I won in this one. And the last one I had 1 matching. And I was like, oh, I won in this one too. So then I scratched the first one and I won $1,000. The second one I won $100. And then the third one I won 25. And I almost peed myself. I was so happy. It's like I said
y'all before. I never did them.
Mm-hmm.
My sister, she's a different breed. I don't know what she can do, but her and her boyfriend, they can go to the casino and they can win $500, $600, $700, $800. They play scratch off tickets. I was like, they live in Florida. So she always win it. She'll post it on social media. We won again. We won this. And I was like, I went a couple times. Literally, I sat at one machine, lost all my money. My cousin sat down and won $700. I said, what? I was just here. So I just got my book and went and sat in the chair and read. Because I said, call me when it's time to go eat because I'm not going to lose no more money.
That I've only been to a casino one time. Oh, I went one time to go to a club in the casino and then another time to actually go with a friend. And he was like, oh, are you going to gamble? I was like, I don't gamble. I don't throw away my money. And he was like, well, here's $50. And I was like, you're just going to give me $50? And he's like, yeah, if you win more than $50, you'll give me my 50 back. And then you'll win the whatever. And I was like, what if I lose? And he's like, then you lose. He's like, because I'm going to make my money plus more back. He's like, you just have to wait at the table. Like, we'll have to wait around because he was doing, what is it called? Poker. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I ended up losing all $50. And I was like, I'm not playing this again. I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Like, I should have just pocketed the $50, sat my little this, and just sat there, and I didn't, and I lost it. And then he just played for another 2 hours. I was so mad. I was like, I'm gonna go. I'm bored. Like, then there was no signal. I was so upset. I was so upset to be there.
I go there for the food. Like, I won't even lie to you. Like, I go to eat.
Yeah, no, over here, they just built a casino like a year ago or so. And I haven't been to it because I don't really gamble like that. This whole scratching ticket thing was like a fluke. Like, I did not expect that at all, nor did I say, oh, I'm going to do this. Like, second time doing it.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. And I was happy because I was literally, so I'm moving in a week. And I was like, oh, this move is going to like, I was like, it's going to like really, because it's going to be a 3-day trip because we're driving. And because I'm pregnant, I'm like, I can't sit for 16 hours a day or 10 hours a day. I can only sit for a certain amount of time in a car. So we're only going to do about 8 hours and then stop and stay at a hotel. And I was like, so paying for the rental and then the hotels, I was like, right there is going to be a lot of money. I don't know how much, but it's going to be a lot. So then this money came in. I was like, that's God being like, don't worry about it, girl. You'll be good.
I got you. Mm-hmm. So sweet.
Yeah.
I wish you all the luck on your journey down there in Florida, like I do.
Thank you. I hope it goes well. I hope it goes well. Like you said, that state is filled with crazies. And yeah, like Charlemagne the God says.
Everyone from Florida is crazy. That's where I got that from. Like everyone, most of his donkey of the days be people from Florida. And I'd be like, he just
Yeah, you always hear the craziest stories come from there, and it's like, yeah, but it's also really hot, and I want to be hot. I want to be
yeah, it doesn't
warm.
get cold. The beaches is beautiful.
Hmm.
I have like my sister lives in Pensacola, and I have family in Tampa.
Nice. Yeah, my mom is about 20 minutes from Tampa.
Okay, you're gonna
Hmm.
enjoy it.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you. So we can move on to my last segment, which is the listeners Q&A. But unfortunately, I've yet to get any questions or stories or anything. So
Well, you ask
people,
me whatever you want to ask me, and we can do it like that.
okay, well that sounds amazing. Do you have any stories, like anything crazy with your kids? Do you have are all your kids different?
Yes, they're all different. They all act like their fathers, even though I'm not. But I'll say to myself, like, you've been living with me, but I see traces of them in them. Now, my oldest daughter, so I have three. They're 15, 10, and 5, all 5 years apart from each other. My 5-year-old was supposed to be 6 Tuesday, so her birthday's coming up. But they're all just, my oldest daughter is her father's twin. I hated him when I was pregnant. She looks exactly like him, and I was like, "Why, Lord? Like no one." Now my son's about the only one that kind of favors me, but they're just all different. Like my son, he's 6 feet tall. Like he's 15. Yeah, he's really tall,
Oh
but he's
wow.
real quiet. He's real kind of like he just sits back and peeps and observe things, but he takes it all in. And my oldest daughter, I call her my sweetest and my meanest child because she's a Libra. So she that scale be balancing with her because 1 minute she want to play, the next minute she don't want to be bored, and I be like, ooh, Libra right now, like truly. And then my 5-year-old, she's I'm sorry. That my son. He trying to ask for my food. No, I bought you your food. I'm sorry, but she's 5. But she has a soul of a 50-year-old woman.
That's
She
funny.
literally has common sense. She got this straight common sense, and she's my little firecracker. She's like, first thing come to her mind, she says it. She gonna let you know how she feel about know what it is, and she just kind of have the like water off a duck's back attitude. Like if something don't go her way, okay, she's gonna find something else. And I'd be like, why can't I have that mentality? Like, why can't I just be like, she don't let nothing bother her. Like okay, it didn't happen. Oh well. So I was like, okay. So they're just
When she was little, did she throw temper tantrums?
she still throw them. She still throw them. Even at
Oh.
5, I feel like she never left out the terrible 2 stage. Even though she felt to be 6, she never left out of there because she got me wrapped around her finger. I ain't even gonna lie. Like I be telling myself, she's my little angel, she's my little baby, or whatnot, because she's mixed. Her dad, she's mixed with Indian, Italian, Creole, and black. Like I didn't know he was mixed with all that. I didn't know. So a lot of people when they see us out, because like my other children, they're like my complexion and everything. I actually had one lady say to me, her mother lets you be with her like that, and I was like, excuse me, and she was like, aren't you her maid or her nanny? And I was like,
No.
like, because when she was born, she had gray eyes and her eyes shake her, and I was like, ma'am, this is my child. She came from me, and she was like, oh, she just didn't look like that. I was like, wow,
Was
okay.
she white?
Yeah, older white lady. I
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
wow, okay. So, a lot of people think her dad is white. And I was like, he's a lot of things, but white ain't one of them. And so, I just got to pretty much like that. But they all have some of my ways, but they all have a lot of their, it's just a lot of that. I'd be like, how is that even possible? But it is. I'm
Oh
grateful for them. They have really, I felt like I didn't have a life until I started having children because they show you unconditional love.
my.
So it doesn't matter, they've always shown me the love I've never gotten growing up as a child. Because I didn't want to have daughters. Like I wanted all boys because it had been me and my son for so long. And I was like, boys are easy. You get their haircut, they go outside, you good. And when I found out I was having a girl, I was so scared because I don't have a relationship with my mother. So I was like, what am I gonna do with a daughter? Then I ended up having another one. And so, but now I get to have that relationship with them that I didn't have with her. So we get to have it. So, we go get our hair done together. And They not old enough to get their nails done yet, but you know, we go get little clothes. We have our little shows we watch. We just have our own relationship, and so I'm grateful that, you know, God gave me the children that He gave me and everything, because they're all sweet, they're all caring, and then they all work my last nerve. If you can see, bought all them food, but he still wanted my food, so that doesn't change right there either. People think they get older, no, they still want your food. Like, I have a full meal since I've had all three of my children because they want your food. So.
That's funny. That's funny. Oh, yeah. No, my daughter was definitely a blessing. I was so happy. I always say she saved me because before I got pregnant, I was drinking a lot. I was going out a lot. I was just doing a lot. And then I met her dad when I was 14. And then we dated a little bit, and then we stopped dating and we got back together 11 years later. And then we got pregnant within 3 months or 2.5 months or so. Yeah. And then we just stayed together for 4 years. And it changed my life, like, completely. I always say, like, if it wasn't for her, I think I would have gone down a different path completely. And she saved me. And so now she, like you said, she has me wrapped around her finger completely.
What's her name?
Victoria.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So I'm ready for the second one to see how it goes, and I hope she is just a little less wild than Victoria.
So you have another girl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Girls are fun. I'm telling you right now, they're real fun. They really are.
Yeah, I love doing her hair. I love dressing her up. I love her sassiness. It's so funny because she looks nothing like me. She's a little darker than me, and she has her father's entire face. Like, she was born and she looked exactly like him. And it's funny because everyone's like, did you give birth or was it him? I'm like, yeah, no, it might have been him.
That's what happened with my oldest daughter. When we went to court, I brought her to court with me. And we stood up there and the judge was like, well, you know, Mr. Robinson, would you like to get a DNA test done? And I literally held my baby up like this. I just held her up. And so he was like, nah, Your Honor, I don't want one. And she was like, can I just take a minute to say thank you? Because if you would have told me you want to get a test done on this baby, I think I would have threw you out my courtroom. She said, I need to test her mother because she looks nothing like her at all. It was hilarious. So I know that for a fact. Like, all of them look like their dad. So yeah.
Yeah, she looks nothing like me, but she is me.
Yeah.
She is me in and out. She is me. She has my attitude. She talks like me. I don't know. She got it from school, but she's very sassy, and she calls everyone honey. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, you are 3 years old. You do not call an adult honey. Like, if she does it just like that, she'll try to get your honey. And I don't use honey. It's not like I'm calling her honey where she got it from me. I don't call it to her dad. Nothing like that. And he doesn't use that either. So it was really funny when she started saying it more, because I know at first it started because her teacher's name was Connie, and she couldn't pronounce it, so she would pronounce honey. But then it just stuck, and now everyone is honey. Everyone is honey. I'm like, little girl, you better.
That's how my 5-year-old is. She's the sassy one of the just like. I'm saying she's been here before. Like, she truly has like been. She's an old soul. So I don't know if I'd be like, okay. And my son's in that teenage stage where, you know, I just remember when he was her age and everything, him coming home from school, telling me about his day, and mom, and now it's like, how your day was? It was okay. Like, you're right. Yeah, it was fine. I was like, oh, you're 15 now. Like, he's a teenager.
I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. I kiss her feet and I kiss her hands all the time. And I'm like, at one point, she's not going to want that anymore. She's not going to want me to hug her. She's not going to want me to be all over her. So right now, I just like, all the time, me and her are just like on each other. I say she's obsessed with my boobs, because anytime I have like a shirt like this, when she comes home, I assure you that her hand will be in my boob. And no, I didn't breastfeed.
My 5-year-old does that. Like, I literally had a shirt on like how you had on, but I changed it. As I said, let me put another one on. Literally, she gets into the bed with me every night. and she does this. Like, she squeezes him every night before she goes to bed, and then she'll go to sleep. And I'm like, what is you doing? And it's what she have to do. She just have to touch them and squeeze. I'll be like, Riley, really? But that's her thing.
That's funny. That must be a kid thing, because she does the same thing. She's just like, anytime if I'm wearing a shirt like this, she's going to touch my boobs. Or if I'm wearing a shirt that, like, even if it comes up to here, she pulls it down and wants the world to see my boobs. And I'm like, Victoria, you can't do that, baby.
Is she ready for the new baby?
Yeah, she knows her sister's coming for the longest. So when I got pregnant, I was like, your sister, brother, and everything was like, sister, brother. And then we did a gender reveal. So when we found out that we were having a girl, it's been everything's my sister every morning. Good morning, sister. And like, it's the sweetest thing. She loves babies. So if she sees, she also thinks that anybody that's like not an adult is a baby. So like, she'll see like a 6-7-year-old. She'll be like, oh, mama, baby. Like a grown kid walking, and she's like, baby. I'm like, that's not a baby. You're a baby. That's a big kid. She's like, no, baby.
That's how my Kimura was when I was pregnant with Ryan. She would talk to my stomach, oh, my sister. And then when she came, she wanted to feed her. She wanted to change. She wanted to do everything. And all that changed when Riley got like 4. When she got like 4 and kind of really started coming to her own. Now, literally, they bicker like they're an old married couple. Like, literally, they're 5 years apart from each other. I just sometimes look at them. And I be like, and I go back and look at old videos of when she was just all on it, kissing and hugging. And now it's just like, I was like, where is that? Where is that? So they bigger. But I think it's the stage they're up in now, because we're in an apartment. They share rooms, and so like I'm trying to move, and I want to get a home where everybody can have their own room. And I think they're kind of just maybe like they're just in each other's space right now, but. It'd be so fun, because I'd be like, would y'all just like, can you just go 5 minutes without having one argument, please? And my son just be in his room, because he just be like, he just look at us like we're just crazy women. And I told him, you haven't seen nothing yet. I was like, you think like your mom's hormonal, you got sisters that has to have a cycle as well, and you be in the house with all that. And he was like, well, hopefully I'll be in college by the time all that, so I won't have to be here in the house with y'all. All y'all being hormonal, running around here crazy. So like,
right. Me and my sister are 5 years apart, and we also shared a room growing up. So it was similar, but we got closer when she got a little bit older. And I'd say around like 16, when she turned 16, that's when I was what, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. When I was 21 and she was 16, my mom had moved to Florida, and we just became super tight. And I want to say she was like 14 when we started actually really being close. I must have been like 18, and we were pretty close. And then she moved, and then when she moved, she still, like, I feel like she still looks up to me, but our relationship isn't the same, because now she's 24 or about to be 24, I think. And she's like, she's not a full adult, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And her and I just, after my mom moved, I was forced to grow up really quick and get my own place and start working full time and going to school and doing that while she still lives with my mom. So like, she hasn't really fully grown up. And then there's things where I'm just like, I can't talk to you like that anymore, because you're like an adult but a baby at the same time, and that's the most frustrating thing. So
do you have any brothers, or just
no, it's just me and her. I have stepbrothers, or half brothers, I mean, from my dad's side, from a different marriage, but I don't talk to them at all, actually. I haven't seen them in like...
I have 3 sisters, and we have 15 kids between the 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
And we have 15 kids, but I don't have a relationship with them. It's like we're 4 different people. We grew up in the same house, experienced a lot of the same things, but it's like they have a relationship and I'm on the outside, because I talk about that on my show as well, colorism, because I was darker than them. They were all light skinned. I was smaller than them. They were all kind of bigger. They were bigger than me. So, they really teased me growing up. Oh, you got the thick hair, then you're dark, and you're this, you're that, and we're light, and we're this, we're that. So for a long time, I didn't like light-skinned women. You know what I'm saying? Just to be honest with you, I didn't, because of the hell I went through with them growing up. And then, somewhat still experiencing now because, you know, they get together, they do things, they don't invite me, they don't ask me to come, and so I've just always kind of been on the outside with it. And, you know, my show has really been like therapeutic for me in a sense because I'm in therapy too. Like, I'm a big advocate for therapy. I have an episode on therapy, and I talked about my journey getting there and once I got there and everything. But just being able to talk about the different things, and I buried a lot from my childhood. But being able to talk about that, I was like, wow, you know, I really overcame that and, you know, got to the root of it and realized every light-skinned woman is not like that at all, period. And so it's really helpful. It really.
Good. Yeah, I'm also in therapy. It's so helpful.
Yeah. I have a great, but it took a journey to get here to her because I had one therapist. I've had four. My last one, you know, I didn't know, like, it's okay if you don't click with a certain one.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 8 sessions on her. And I would sit there and tell her, okay, I was abused as a child, this and that. And she'll just go, how does that make you feel? And I'm looking at her like, okay. So I knew right then and there, like, no, she's not the one for me. And so the lady I'm with now, I actually met her at my church before all this happened. He did like a women's seminar. You know, he had like a panel of men on the stage, and we could ask like the men questions. He had like married men, single men, divorced men, player type men. You know, he just had different array of men. And she came in at the end and spoke, and I was like, I like her. And I reached out to her, and she emailed me, and she said, these are my prices. And I was like, ooh, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a single mom. I can't afford those prices. And she was like, I'm glad you was honest with me because I was not going to charge you those prices. She said, what I'm going to do is I want to see you 4 times a month, like each week. But she said, what I'm going to do is you pay me, like, I come 1 week, I pay, 1 week is free. 1 week I pay, 1 week is free. And I was like, really? She was like, yeah. And we can do that for however long you need to do it. And she gave me a real great price. And I was like, oh my God, it's amazing.
That's amazing.
So I get 2 free sessions.
Yeah,
And I pay for them, but it's like an hour, but we always end up talking like 2 hours. It always be going like 2 hours, and she be like, I gotta get my other client. It just goes, but yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah, I bet that's a blessing. That is such a blessing. Yeah, I met mine. So I've had like in my lifetime, because I started therapy when I was about 10.
Really?
And it was, yeah, because I was sexually abused when I was young. Yeah. And then I told my mom.
I buried mine. I just hid mine.
No, I told my mom, and then when I told my mom, she was like, "Okay, well, we have to do something." So we ended up going to court and all that stuff because I told her who it was and everything. And then from the court, they were like, "She has to go to therapy." And then I started going to therapy. Then I went for a few years. Then I stopped. Then my dad and we had like a falling out when I was like 14. So then I started going again. And then fast forward to when I got pregnant, I was really like depressed. And then I got one of those, like, not a social worker, but like a type of therapist that I would sit and I would talk to every week and all that. I stopped seeing her because she was only seeing people that were pregnant. So then I started seeing, an Asian woman, and like nothing against Asian people at all, but like she had a very thick, like, Asian accent. And I did not
understand what she was saying.
That, and I didn't feel any type of empathy or like any type of anything. And I didn't know if it was because of the I don't know, the barrier, the understanding barrier of her accent. And I was like, it's fine, but I only saw her one time and I never saw her again. And then fast forward to last year, I was like, I need a therapist. Like, I'm really feeling like I need to talk to someone. There's a lot in my head. Everything is coming back up. And especially having a daughter, all these things scare me. Like, it wasn't one time that I've been sexually abused. It's been a few times, and it's been from family members. It's been different things. And I was like, I'm now more scared than ever having a daughter because I don't want to take her to daycare. I don't want to take her to these places because I'm scared that, like, one of the daycares she went to, it was a home daycare, and the woman, one day she told me it was only her and like 2 workers, and one day I got there and her grown son was there, and I was like, oh, like, she introduced me, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that he like would be here. And she's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he comes and helps out sometimes, this
Oh
and
no.
this. And I was like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that when I first signed her up, and if you would have, I probably wouldn't have put her here. And she's like, oh, but it's okay, he's certified and this and that. I was like, oh, I don't care what he's certified in. He's, he's here with my daughter. And
Yeah.
the fact that you didn't tell me makes me really uncomfortable. It was shortly after that I ended up switching her for a completely different reason. But those little things where I don't
Yeah, you're
really,
right about that.
yeah.
I would have been very freaked out by that
Mm-hmm.
completely. Just like, hey, that's something you should have mentioned. Like,
Mm-hmm.
way in the process of me filling out the applications, you should have mentioned that. So I can
Mm-hmm.
understand
Mm-hmm.
that completely.
So I've just been in this process now. My last therapy session with my current therapist that I've been seeing her for like a year or so. Um, she was great, and she's very great. She's so understanding. She's always trying to get to like the root of everything, and trying to, like, each week
Mm-hmm.
she'll like read off the notes from the week before, and she's like, so let's touch on this because you brought this up last week, and it'll be things that I completely forgot that I mentioned. And
Mm-hmm. Me
she's so
too.
dope. Last week she was like, so next week is our last week, and we're gonna do a discharge and this, how do you feel? I was like, I feel sad because I can't
Yeah.
see her due to like the switching of the state. I guess where she works, they don't allow you to do out of state like
Oh
treatments.
no. Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now I have to go look for a new one, which is fine,
You
I
know what?
guess. Fresh start.
You're gonna find one. You are.
Mm-hmm.
You just stay on that right track. I guarantee you, the right one is gonna come to you. Like he or she, that they're gonna come to you. I promise you, they will.
Oh, thank you.
They really
Thank you.
will.
Thank you.
It's something serious. I was one of those people that was like, no, don't do therapy. Like, don't ever go. I was like, black people don't go to therapy. I was one of them. But when I say it has really helped me, like my show, I do my show on Mondays. So I didn't do one last week because I just kind of, I was revamping, rechanging everything. So I took a week off. But actually, the homework assignment she gave me that I'm supposed to do, that's what my show is going to be about, which is what is a healthy relationship? Because I've never seen one. I have never been in one yet. I'm still believing for my husband and everything. So I actually just had to do some research, and I was like, okay, I want to interview some people, help people I know that that you got a healthy relationship. So that's what I'm gonna do my show on, because a lot of people think that, oh, you can have a toxic relationship, but it's hard to have a healthy relationship too.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got 2 people coming together. You don't know really what his background is or what you done went through. So it's a lot of work. You got to work every day in a healthy relationship. You can't just be like, oh, we good, and just leave it at that. So that's what my show is going to be about tomorrow.
Oh, nice. I will be tuning in.
I'm gonna send you the link and everything when we get done, so you can maybe check it out
Good.
and let me know what you think and everything.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I hope we can keep in contact even beyond this.
No, we'll stay friends on Facebook. And if you want me to come on or whatever, I ask you to come
Yeah,
back on
I
and
would
all
love to.
that.
I
Absolutely.
would definitely love that. I've never did anything like this, for us like on my end. So it's like I don't know how to set up like the Zoom calls. I just mostly record from my phone, but I know within Anchor, it's a
Mhm.
way like I can invite you to we can record together through that way and
Mhm.
everything. So yeah, but most definitely. And then you'll
Great.
be in Florida, which even though I think Lakeland is like 9 hours from Mobile, but you'll be in Florida, so
A little closer.
yeah.
But to everyone else and you, if you have any questions or stories or anything that you want me to talk about on the podcast, you can email me at deb@gmail.com. And again, that's deb.talk with an extra K at the end at gmail.com. So please tell everyone where they can find you, the name of your podcast, just plug yourself so everyone can come look for you.
Okay, well, first off, thank you for having me on. You were
Absolutely.
just such a delight. I love your voice. It's so.
Thank you.
Honestly, I would never thought that you're just doing this. Like I would have thought you've been doing this. I guess you have like a radio voice. I don't
Oh,
know what it is,
thank
but
you.
it's real calming. But okay, I just wanted to get that out the way.
Thank you.
But I'm on social media. Shenaniganssss, like that's my Facebook name. And then my podcast is called My Journey Within. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Right now, I am on 10 different platforms. You know, Anchor has distributed me out. So I'm on Apple now. I'm on Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Overcast. What else? It's Radio Public, Stitcher. You know, I'm on them. So, you know, check me out and everything. It's about self-love, self-care, you know, fixing what's on the inside first, because that's what matters. I was one of those person that wanted to fix the outside, but I was messed up on the inside. So I have a saying that I say at the end of my shows where it's like, love yourself enough so that when love shows up, it won't be a stranger to you. So that's pretty much what I say. And just I invite everyone to come on this journey with me, because it's going to be a fun ride.
Amazing. And everyone, please remember to subscribe and comment and rate us on iTunes. Everywhere you listen to your podcast, that's where we're at. And thank you for joining me on this amazing podcasting journey. We started this episode asking, how has it been holding all kinds of relationships together while being a single parent? And the answer we came up with is you win some and you lose some. Some people will stay and support. Others will keep it pushing, and good riddance to them. Exactly. As adults with children, we can sit around mourning every loss that wasn't a death, but who wants to be there will be there, and who doesn't will not, and that's fine. We will keep it pushing. Remember, like always, everyone, keep an open mind and keep an open heart. Toodles! Bye.